Namaste, my beautiful people. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat this morning. Ready to go for another day in our 20 minutes of yoga every day this month. The inspiration to New Moon June was just to give you lots of different little aspects to yoga. There's many different ways you can approach it, and today I am going to show you our yoga breathing, or pranayama. It's a really profound, very, very special practice of connecting to the breath. Today's practice that I want to show you, there's lots of different kinds of pranayama breathing practices. Today's one that I want to show you is all based around using the idea of breathing, or the technique of focused breathing, intentional breathing, in order to bring about a feeling, a very specific feeling of calm and balance. So when you know, we all experience times, I think, or I can only talk for myself, when feel very overwhelmed, the noise from the world really, starts to cave in on you. And sometimes that can come with a bit of tightness in the chest, a little bit of shortness in the breathing perhaps. So learning what we can do in those circumstances and use our breathing, which we've always got. It's not something you leave at home and think, oh, forgot to bring that with me, wherever you are. So I'm going to show you a couple of really specific techniques. So barefoot yoga, shoes off is all you need. So just get that ready. This pranayama can be done anywhere, seated on a floor, leaning up against a wall is good. You can do it on a chair, sitting on your bed, wherever you want to do it. It can be done lying down as well, fairly effectively. I prefer the seated, but absolutely up to you, because you need to be comfortable in order to be able to feel it, because this is an experiential practice. So just get yourself ready. You can sit, if you're sitting up on the floor, you might want to put a cushion or a block or a big rolled up blanket under the sitting bones so you can sit really comfortably. And it doesn't matter what you use, whatever you need to feel comfortable, then that's where this is at. All right, gorgeous, got yourself in place, you've decided how to sit. The next thing that would be really important would be, because often when we get, particularly when we feel really stressed, very overwhelmed, and sometimes when we get a little bit anxious, those chest muscles tighten, it feels like we just want to shut down and close down. And these muscles get very, very tight. And what we learn from yoga is that when our body is tight and tense, it's telling our brain that it should feel worried. So we're just going to loosen up before we, and particularly focus just around shoulders and chest and ribs, around the muscles that work the respiratory system, so that when we get into the breathing, the brain's already thinking, oh, this could be a good time to relax, and then we can super boost it with the breath and get there a lot faster. All right, makes sense? Yeah. All right, as we inhale, let's just start to stretch the spine up. Let's bring the arms up, fingertips pointing to the ceiling. We're going to bring those fingers together, and just see if you want to just roll those hands around with the palms facing up to the center. Just have a big stretch up there. Just make sure you're not jammed, it's not rigid, because remember, we're trying to tell our brain to have soft muscles, or we're getting soft muscles so we can tell our brain we're feeling good. All right, and let's take a little stretch. Let's just stretch out your ribs, all those intercostal muscles that hold your ribs, and breathe in back to the center. And let's just take a little sway. Nothing dramatic here, just enough to just feel those muscles and give them a little hey-de-ho, wake up for the day. We want pretty loosey-goosey with everything. Turn the palms back around. We're going to bring the hands down to just about shoulder height. Open up our upper back now. Take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, just let the head just sink down between your shoulders. And just let that upper back just feel like it's just softening up just a little bit. Let's bring the head all the way up, releasing the hands. We're going to bring the hands back just on the fingertips and resting back onto your fingers or your hands. And as you inhale, we're going to lift the chest and roll our shoulders and really just get lots of oxygen in, lots of room, lots of breath, so that when we get into our breathing, we can really use the full capacity, which makes our brain sing. Bring your chin to your chest and very lightly walk yourself back up. Let's put a little twist into our life here. So left hand on the right knee, breathe in up into the crown of the head. So let your skull shine and follow your breath around. You know, we're just loosening up, guys, so you really don't want to tighten and tense. Already start the idea of softening your face and softening your jaw, and lots of movement. So we just want to feel every time we're breathing, we want to feel that body moving. Let's flow straight around to our left hand side. The hands are there just to give you a bit of a guide. Inhale up, and as you exhale, just let it flow all the way around. Nice and soft and loose. Loosey-goosey is always the way. Inhale forward, because we know that when our muscles are super tight, that it actually tells our brain that perhaps there may be a little bit of a threat we're trying to run away from. So we're trying to undo that today, which is another really good point. It's a result of stress hormones, so particularly adrenaline, that sends all the blood up to our muscles so we can run and fight our threats, but also makes our hair stand on end, and it kind of makes us grimace a little bit and bare our teeth, so we actually look more frightening. So before we begin, I want you to look less frightening by softening your face. So just pay attention here. You can just imagine that you're kind of half smiling to yourself internally. So, just loosen up the jaw, loosen the tongue. It's all going to be part of it. All right, gorgeous. Now, yoga's reflective or self-reflective. So before we begin, I want you to see where you are at now, because then I'm going to ask you to do the same thing at the end, because I really want you to start to reap the benefits, which with breathing work is instantaneous. You'll be utterly amazed, I'm certain of it. So if you feel comfortable, I'd like to invite you just to simply just close your eyes right now. Soften your jaw, soften your cheeks, your eyes, just relax your shoulders, let them drop down your back. And I want you to do two things. One is just notice that you are breathing, so drop your attention to your breath. And I'm not going to ask you to do anything other than notice it. Notice wherever you feel your breath. It might be in your nose or on your nostrils, or maybe you feel it in your chest or your ribs, and maybe you feel it in your tummy. Maybe you don't feel it at all. It's whatever you're witnessing. That's all that matters. Maybe you can become aware of how it feels. So if it feels like it's hard to get a breath in, if it feels tight, or if you're only getting a tiny little bit of breath in, or maybe it's not rhythmic. Maybe there's just you have no idea what's going on with that breathing there. You're just noticing. No right and no wrong. Now the second thing I want you to consider is the self-reflection of how am I feeling right now? What kind of mood am I in? Where is my focus? Where are my thoughts? Where's my attention? Possibly not doing heaps of body work, but maybe the first thing you notice is, now my back's hurting or my hips are hurting. So before we begin, if that's your overwhelming feeling, move, change it up. And just check it out. Witness where you're at. All right, got it? It's like doing the weather forecast for yourself, checking out whether it's a sunny day or it's a bit windy, or you can feel a storm coming. And then we're going to create balance using our breathing. So the first thing I want you to do is just sitting really comfortably. You're going to soften the shoulders. The first thing we're going to do is a thing called Samavritti, which just means same breath, even breathing. But we're actually going to see if we can tap into using the entire capacity in our lungs, because we want to get in as much oxygen as we can up to the brain and out to the cells. But we also want to remove all the stale, old, toxic stuff that gets caught up inside of us. So, think of this as a full exchange. And here's how we do it. So again, I'll invite you just to simply close your eyes, relax your jaw and your mouth and your lips, and just sink on down. I want you to take a big breath out through both your nostrils, so nose breathing only here. Emptying your lungs right down, push it out of your belly. And as you begin inhaling, I want you just to slowly feel that breath coming in through your nostrils. Feel it going down through your throat. You feel it coming into your collarbones. Feel your chest rising, feel your ribs spreading out, and feel your belly blowing up. That's a full breath until you think, I've got nowhere else to go. And the next thing that happens is that breath starts going out. And it's just slowly letting it go out of the belly drops back, the ribs drop back in, the chest softens, the collarbones drop back down, and you feel that breath leave back out through your throat. And you feel it come back out through your nostrils. You may not feel the whole shebang, but remember, loosey-goosey. So the one thing as we move forward now is no forcing your breath. This is just like right in the waves. Just let them come and let them go. Let's have a little go at just getting our capacity first. So just you doing it for yourself. Take a big breath out, empty your lungs, and just very slowly begin inhaling, and just watch it like you're just sitting on a surfboard and just riding the swell. And when your lungs feel full, just let yourself sink back down. So you're starting to feel the depth of your lungs. The studies, the Pranayama studies, suggest we only use 1/5 of the capacity of our lungs. So this 4/5 down here just kind of sit there doing nothing. So no wonder we feel overwhelmed and tight and incapable of getting breath in. All right, so we've got this idea that our lungs are bigger than we normally breathe. You wouldn't normally breathe that long going about your business, would you? No, not many of us would. That's why pranayama is such a powerful practice. All right, so we've got that idea. So now we're going to do a little practice that I love to call Take 5. So what we're going to do, what this means is we're going to count our breathing, because it helps focus our mind. We're simply, we're going to inhale, we're going to count to 5, just quietly in our mind. I'll do the first one. And then as we breathe out, we're going to count slowly to 5. The idea is that the amount of breath that comes in is the same as the amount of breath that goes out. And that's where we get this evenness, the even breathing coming from. So an inhale and an exhale is one breath. I'm going to take 5 of those. You can count them literally on your fingers as you go, so you don't have to get confused or muddled. It's just a tactile thing that drops your brain to your body and helps your brain assimilate and immediately calm down. So last wiggles out, let's have a go at taking 5. So when you feel ready, if you feel really comfortable, close your eyes. You can keep them open. It's just that it's just not that exciting sitting around watching someone or watching me breathing. It's more about what it feels like for you. So let's have a little go together, and then you can do the first one together and you do the final 4, yeah? So let's go. Take a big breath out through both nostrils. And breathing in through both nostrils. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going for yourself. And when you get finished taking your 5 breaths, just stay nice and peaceful just for a moment. You can keep your eyes closed, just check in, notice how that feels. Kind of smiling to yourself now, already feeling the brain has dropped to the body. The counting is really effective. If 5 isn't enough and at the end of 5 breaths you think you need more, do 10, take 10. So beautiful. So this gives you this really gorgeous idea. It's not specifically important of whether you're counting to 5, doesn't matter what your count is. The idea is, and did anyone notice? Did you notice maybe instead of counting you were just feeling, you were just totally riding the wave, like sitting in the ocean. All right, gorgeous. All right, I've got the big grand finale coming up now, and this is one of the absolute most beautiful yoga practices I think I've ever experienced. It's called Nadi Shodhana, and it means alternate nostril breathing. So it can be a little bit strange in the beginning. I'll put that straight out there. Just takes a little bit of getting used to. I'm going to guide you, so I'm going to call out which. So what we're doing is we're going to be blocking off a nostril at a time. All right, so every time we breathe in, we're going to change nostrils. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So it can just be a little bit funky in the beginning. One of the great ideas is just to calm, it just instantly calms the mind. Your nadis are the energy channels. They feed directly to the 2 hemispheres in your brain. So this is why you feel incredibly calm and balanced at the end, because it's balancing your brain, both hemispheres at the same time. All right, so have a little practice with the hand first. So we've got the right hand. We're going to take our index finger down, our middle finger, and the thumb and these fingers, when you turn it round to face your face, you're going to use, so your thumb is going to block off your right nostril, and your other fingers are just gently going to block off your left nostril. So it's going to look something like this. So just have a little play at that. It's a little bit strange in the beginning, but don't worry, no one can see you. We've all got our eyes closed. It's just have a little go. See what happens. All right, let's see. See how this goes. We're not going to do that many rounds, okay? So if you do, but if before we go, if you get panicky, if you feel really overwhelmed, just drop out. Don't try to stick on through. See how we feel about it. So it's good to have your eyes closed, okay? If you don't want to, just bringing up your hand towards your face and keeping both nostrils free, we're going to exhale, empty our lungs through both nostrils. And blocking off your right nostril, we're going to inhale through our left nostril. And then we're going to block off our left nostril and breathe out through our right one. And breathe in through our right nostril now. And block off that one. Breathe out through your left nostril. Breathe in through your left nostril. Breathe out right nostril. Breathing in right nostril. And breathing out left nostril. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left nostril. Exhale right nostril. Inhale right nostril. And exhale left nostril. And just gently release your nostrils. Bring your hand back down. Stay really still and calm. Now we've just done a couple of rounds. Check in with yourself. See how that feels. Notice your rhythm in your normal breathing. Notice the effect if you're feeling pretty calm, pretty peaceful. Normally you're pretty quiet for quite some time. So Nadi Shodhana works on your nerve purification. So right down in a cellular level, you instantly got that calm coming over you. Don't have to be doing lots of it. All right, back to the day. Here we are. You can use that anytime. I know it's a bit strange. It takes a little while to get used to feeling the flow. If you can just, if you're going to try it for yourself, I normally call it mountain breathing. You go up the mountain, down the mountain, back up the mountain and down the mountain. That would be one full cycle. You are swapping over the nostrils every time you exhale. So if you remember when you exhale, remember you've got to probably swap. Don't panic too much. Call me, text me, email me, whatever, and I'll talk you through it. There'll be plenty more of this coming up because there's lots more of the pranayama practices as well. So I hope you've enjoyed your breathing work today. Nice and slow and steady for, well, it's Monday morning. So hopefully that will sustain you for your entire week.